Hi, everyone, and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay, and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And say hi, other Bay. Or this
Hello.
is other Bay. Say hi.
Yeah, the intro went wrong. You went wrong, and I felt weird.
I went so off the rails. Wait, no, this is other Bay. Say hi, other Bay. There we go.
Hi.
I was like, no, I have to do it right because now I don't remember what it is. I fixed it. It's fine. We're just gonna ignore that.
It's not like we've had the same intro from day dot.
It's all good. So today we were talking about Strange Angels by somebody. The first
Lily.
Okay, cool. By that, the first book in the is it the Strange Angel series?
It is.
Okay. The first book in that. How many books are in this series?
5.
5. Okay, the first 5 in this series.
Yeah.
And right. So I guess we'll start off with ratings. Somebody else go.
I'll do it.
You know what?
Okay. So I read this. Sorry. So I first read this series in 7th grade, and I remember it being bad, but I remember loving it nonetheless. Even though I acknowledged, I was like, this book is so shitty. So I would say, like, like kid cuisines.
Yes.
Like eating a kid cuisine as an adult and being like, this is literally just tastes like goo. But even as a kid, you're like, the kid cuisine.
But maybe.
Yeah. Kid cuisine.
Bay.
My rating is pending something. Okay, yeah, no, I can give my rating. Excellent. Okay. I just had to confirm that this came after. So do you guys have Aldi there?
Aldi?
Yeah, the supermarket.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Aldi food.
So like knockoff food.
And yeah, because as I said before we went live, this show is literally Supernatural featuring a This book is Supernatural featuring a teenage girl.
Yeah.
So it's a knockoff.
Yeah, that's about right.
It's a hardcore knockoff.
Without angels. Without actual angels in it.
Yeah, at least Supernatural had an angel.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's a play on Kristoff being the guardian angel. She is she Sam or Dean? That's a good question.
I'm just gonna steal your rating, Bay, because it's fine.
I think she's Sam. Dean's too
She's
witty.
more Sam. Yeah, she's more Sam.
Bay.
She's mopey. She's too mopey, so she's Sam.
We have to talk about the narrator.
Yeah, I listened to the sample on Amazon.
This is one question I've been wondering. Is music spelled correctly in the book?
I texted her. I was like, is music spelled correctly? And because I was 5 minutes in. I was like, is music spelled correctly? I gotta know. And she was like, it is, because the narrator, for whatever the fuck reason, decided for no reason at all to just at times be like, the music got louder. And I'm
like,
every time
normally.
Yeah, music is not pronounced normally once in.
It was always music. I was like, is it magical music? Like, what the fuck is happening?
It's just normal music.
The first time it was set up, like based on the context and everything, I was like, it could be a particular, maybe it was a particular style of music she was referring to that is commonly referred to as music. I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs of US music culture, but then when they're at the mall and it was music, I was like,
yeah. The first time she said it, I was too. I was like, maybe it was something weird, like within like the like whatever, but it kept going.
I want to pull up how werewolf is spelled because it bothers me.
I texted her and I was like, is music spelled weird? Because I have a thing to say. But then also, this narrator sounds like an old hag, okay? This narrator naturally sounds like Grandma Redbird, okay? Like, I'm sorry. And, like, that's fine. But she sounds older than, like, Lorelai
She sounds like Grandma Redbird.
She sounds older than Lorelai King, like naturally. So, and that's a problem because this bitch's supposed to be like 16. And when you have Grandma Redbird looking at Graves going, that's like a nice hunk of boy toy. It's creepy.
Fuck, where is it?
You're wrong.
It was weird. Like, it was so weird.
Like,
Because she was like, he was kind of lanky and maybe he'd grow into it. And I was like, ugh. Like, you know, when the witch was like saying to Dorg, like, we could get together and have babies. It was like that, but the whole time.
So, well, let me search this stupid fucking book. So I'm just gonna have to scroll for a minute until I find them say werewolf, but they say species names like a million times, so it won't take me that long.
It was like
There's this thing. This book
wasn't it like
very thorough.
Like, it was like wolfen.
It was werewolf, like WUR.
Oh, when the actual word werewolf was in there.
Yeah, it was spelled differently, and I don't remember exactly how it was spelled. And every time I search and I click on it, it's like nope. But I don't remember exactly how it's spelled. It says WUR is not in the book, and I'm like, yes, it is.
Well, it was wolf, like with WULF.
That might be it. Yes. Yes. Okay. So it's WERWULF. Thank you.
Yeah, I know, right? It's weird. But she said that normally.
Sorry, the cat's trying to harass me.
Yeah, so I will say as well with this, like, I do like that, like, for example, when it's revealed, like, because the first time she mentioned a sucker, it didn't like the vampire straight away, right? It didn't. She's like, there's also suckers, and he was like, what's a sucker? And she's like, you don't want to know. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's
Sucker, like, oh, vampire, cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're ever actually referred to as vampires. They're just Nosferatu, Damp Fears, and then like there's a bunch of other names for them.
Yeah.
She's never actually a vampire.
But I mean, like, I do kind of like that like werewolves are generally referred to as the wolfen or shape changers, and vampires or suckers or Nosferatus or whatever, because it just adds a little bit of like, oh well, at least we have our own slang this book. Like, I kind of liked it a bit. I mean, I don't necessarily like the specific words because, you know, I'm so sick of hearing sucker. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But
yep.
I like it more than like, because of course, like, hunters would have slang for whatever they're hunting, right? And you know what I hate more than sucker? Vamp.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds like you're trying too hard to have this slang when you use vamp. So at least there's that. At least she didn't go with the hunter slang being vamp.
Yeah, one of the good things about this book is it's overly thorough, I would say, in its lore. It explains it 50 times, because how many times did we hear Kristoff say he was a damn fear, or however the fuck you pronounce it? I think literally like 7 times in the same conversation. She's like, what are you? And he's like, bitch, I just told you 4 times. I am this.
But I'll explain it again just in case.
Yeah. It's overly thorough, which, I mean, is kind of refreshing coming off from the air,
cool.
the folk of the air, because where we learned nothing. So I mean, there's that.
Yes,
but we're guessing. We're making up lore in the stream. Like, maybe it's this. We'll go with that.
Yeah, exactly.
At least again, also. Sorry.
Yes?
It just popped into my head because I was about to say, like, also in contrast to Folk of the Air, again, the descriptions are quite thorough. Like, you are not allowed to forget that he has a unibrow.
Yeah.
And he's said over and over again. But then, because he's biracial, she constantly refers to him as a half-breed.
This book is problematic.
This book is a little problematic.
But then, I can't remember if she was saying he was like the half-breeds that are like this or he wasn't like the half-breeds that are like this. But she mentioned the half-breeds that are trying too hard to look like they have a Clint Eastwood squint.
Yep. Okay, so for
And I
reference,
was like, whoa, this is
When
a
was this
lot.
book written?
I'll check.
2009.
Okay.
Okay. So Graves is one of the primary love interests, and he is half American and then half Asian.
Well, half white, half Asian.
Yeah, whatever. Caucasian Asian.
And yes,
And he's referred to as a half-breed.
yes, once he establishes that.
That's like problematic even for 2009. Like, god damn.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, hold on. That's why I was like, hold on, is it problematic like for the time period? I was like, yes, it is.
So that means I read these books as they came out. Okay. Because the second one, I guess, wasn't out because I read these because we were in 7th grade in 2009, right?
No. Yeah. Yes.
2009, 2010.
Yeah, we would have been.
So I guess I read these as they came out. That's pretty. All right.
Yeah, I was just kind of a bit, not gonna lie, confronted.
So we should go into characters.
With the amount of half-breed
So our
references
characters.
in this book.
Drew is our resident sad girl.
Drew Anderson. Yeah, well, she has a reason to be sad. I'll give her that.
But she's our resident, like, edgy sad girl.
Yes.
And like this book is definitely, aside from its problematic elements, is definitely a product of its time as far as the protagonist goes, because she is emo to the nth degree.
She is.
As far as like her, like, I'm a strong girl and I'm edgy and I'm bossy and
I like guns.
And and I like guns.
She really likes guns.
Right. And it's interesting actually to see how the strong, like when you're looking at this, it's actually interesting to see how like the strong female character has evolved, because it hasn't necessarily changed from like I'm edgy and I like being I guess traditionally masculine, but it's moved from like I like being sad and edgy to I like being happy and edgy.
Yes, it has. It is definitely a product of its time. You're right.
Yeah. So so like she's still in the so she was produced in the I like being sad and edgy time.
This book was written, okay, I would say the height of the emo era was over, but it was still pretty lingering in 2009.
Well, it was still going pretty strong when she and I were in high school.
Yeah.
And it started to like die. It started to die out probably soon after we graduated. But like the height of it with us was like 2013.
Really?
Like resurgence, I would say.
Well, yeah, I would say like the goth era had ended, and we were into like the emo.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say like the goth era had ended, and we were into like the emo scene era at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, so we do need to take that into account. We're in like the time of the emo. It's the year of the emo when this is out, so we do need to kind of take that into account, because let's be honest, if you're going to write some sort of urban fantasy book targeted at teenagers during the emo era,
make one of the main epitome of Hot Topic.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, for example, let me put it this way. At that time, people were kind of over MCR and they were really into blood on the dance floor. That's where we were.
Yes, you're right. You're actually
we were really into Black Veil Brides and blood on the dance floor. Like that's where the world was in 2009. MCR was out and Black Veil Brides was in. That's where we were living.
So
am I wrong?
No, you're not.
I'm wrong.
No, I'm just saying, I guess we do need to take that into account when critiquing that element of the book because it was actually kind of smart writing for the era that it's in terms of that.
I mean, yeah, because it's just something to keep in mind. Sorry.
Unlike PC and Kristen Cast, let's write a freaking urban fantasy vampire novel in the height of emo, like the year of the emo, and start the book out with, oh my god, am I going to turn into a goth or even worse, an emo, ill? And it's like,
yeah,
so your target audience cast. At least Lilith and Chloe knew her target audience.
Also, I think this was published by one of the most major whatever publishing companies for YA emo books, which I think was Penguin House.
Why did they
reading a lot of Penguin House books in middle school?
That's the other thing as well, though. Why the hell would a major? Okay, I'm going back to the half-breed thing for a second. How did that get past their editors?
See, that's what like blows my mind.
And Kristen Cast.
That's what blows my mind about that. That's what blows my mind about this. It's like, how do these things happen? Like people have to read this. This has to get like approved. And people saw Half-Breed and went, yeah, for sure. And I'm like, wow.
Yes, and not like if it was a supernatural half-breed thing, like you get it. That's fine. We can live with that.
You can, you can have people calling like Hermione a mudblood all day and nobody cares, but you can't say that about his race.
Exactly.
Well, and that's the thing is like if a self-published author did this, like if you or I did this, we'd be crucified.
Yeah.
How do real people get away with this shit?
It's really funny as well because, like, you know, in terms of representation, he's been pretty good so far in the series.
Except for the fact that she's calling it
pretty good, except
he's the only person of color in the book.
Yeah, but he's a major character, and also there's not many characters in this book. There's like 4 or 5 characters in this book.
We have what's is it Sergey? Is that how it's pronounced in the audiobook as well?
Yes,
Sergey.
Yes.
I don't want to be presumptuous, but from his name, I don't remember his description very well, but from his name, it sounds like he would be a person of color as well.
I would say he would be Russian.
Yeah, well, not American at least, because, you know, in America, when we're reading American books, unless it's thrown in our face, we're like, oh, okay, well, Americans are like, okay, well, everyone in here is American. Everyone here is a white American, unless told otherwise, which is not good. You need to describe all your characters, no matter if they're white or otherwise.
Yeah, that's pretty much oh yeah, by the way, real quick, writing advice with Book Club with Bae. Industry standard now is that you should be describing all of your characters equally, no matter what skin tone, hair color they have. So even if no matter what skin tone they have. So like you should be telling us that they like explicitly, like they are pale. Like what kind of pale are they? Are they like olivey pale, or are they like rosy pale?
Yeah, if they're white, are they creamy white? Are they tanned white? Are they like, because that also often gives an indication as well as personality traits. Like if someone is incredibly tanned, that indicates that they're an outdoors person.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's industry standard now as well that we just don't assume everybody is white, and then also it just gives you an opportunity to add those details in, and then also.
I mean, unless as well, the primary example to that is, for example, if you are writing like a fantasy or urban fantasy book or whatever, and there is for example, let's say you have a species of magical beings, but they are based from South America or Africa, or they're Celtic, or they're whatever, then the general assumption is that everyone of that thing is of that regional appearance type thing. So if you establish that a particular group of people are all Celtic, you don't need to tell us all that they're all white as fuck repeatedly every time we meet them, because we know that they're Celtic.
Exactly.
Yeah. The other thing though that general practice does is that it also allows you to just describe everybody a little bit more smoothly, because then when you start describing skin tones, it's not weird because you've been doing it the whole time. So because it can be kind of, it can be a little weird if you're just like all of a sudden, you haven't been telling us what race people are, but then all of a sudden you're like, and this one is black, and we're like, oh, okay. What's everybody else?
Yeah, and also you don't need. I think also you need to put the same amount of emphasis on people's complexions as each other. Like for example, with House of Night, for example. Like you don't really need to know that, be told that Stevie Ray and Aphrodite are white because they're blonde. That's a pretty fair assumption. However, she also likes to spend about half an hour describing just how cappuccino or mocha or latte, depending on the book, Shawnee's skin tone is. And it's like, do you not realize that a latte, a cappuccino, and a mocha all have different colors? Besides the point, though.
And I can't
spend about half an hour describing Shawnee's complexion every time. It's like, this is a bit much.
Yeah, I can't speak also for every person of color, but from everything that I have read from how to describe skin tones, typically people, from everything that I've read on how to describe skin tones, people do not tend to like they're not a big fan of the whole food thing, and so it's also at least been described from everything I've read as best practice to not use food as descriptors of skin tone for people of color.
Yeah, but I think one thing I have seen with that though is that like white people are never described with food. It's like, well, actually there's pieces of cream, there's milky, there's creamy, there's this, there's that. I think they also just have selective, or at least a lot of the ones that make a big deal, they also tend to often have selective memory when it comes to white people's skin tone descriptions, because most white people's skin tone descriptions are also, actually they're almost all some sort of milk product related, like for example, creamy, milky, like anything to do with coffee is generally that, chocolate. They all involve milk of some kind. So it's not necessarily like if they're like, oh yeah, they had skin like a steak.
We're all made of products, guys. That is
we're all dairy, okay?
We're all dairy products with sentience and break.
Yes.
But in any case, so that's Drew.
Okay. So Drew. Okay. She's 16. Yes. Her and her dad are hunters of the quote unquote real world, which is the world that like slithers in the night, all that good stuff. Supernatural, ghosts, poltergeists, vampires, werewolves, all that fun shit. And they just came back to a town in South Dakota, right? One of the Dakotas. They're in one of the Dakotas.
I don't know. There was something. All I know is that they were in the South because he was like, "You sound Southern," and she goes, "I don't sound Southern, even though I spent 2 years Southern."
They just moved from Florida up to the Dakotas, which we find out is where Drew's actually from. Later in the book, we found out that she lived there when she was really young. But that's Drew.
Yeah, and she's got a chip on her shoulder because Daddy never likes to take her places. Yeah, we also learned from the get-go that she has the touch, which from I think is her grandmother Native American? Like, is her dad Native American or something? Because her grandmother was referred to as a wise woman and stuff. So I'm assuming Drew is one of the few people who we don't get much of a descriptor on.
Yeah, but I think it's because on the cover of the book we have Drew's portrait.
Yeah.
So I think that's why she might not describe it. But I genuinely don't know. I think the best way to think about it is that she's a witch. I know she talks about the witch word later in the book, but I think that's just the best way to describe it.
Yeah. But yeah, so she can sense when something started happening. She describes it as a really strong, but not quite not quite orange, but it's the closest thing she can refer the taste in her mouth. But when something evil is lurking, she tastes oranges. Yeah.
One of these books are going to have to be described as apple pie. So, but like a shitty apple pie. One of these books is going to have to be, which we'll get to why when we talk about Kristoff, but not next because I fucking hate Kristoff.
Yeah. I guess so. Next we'll move to
Graves. I think he's the next major character. Because, like, her dad's an ex-Marine. Cool, he hunts things. And, that's all that matters about him. Oh, Grandma's white owl. She also sees a white owl that's her grandmother that warns her about shit.
Grandma's dead.
Yeah, Grandma's dead. Grandma's dead, Mom's dead. That's it at the beginning of the book. So, Graves. Graves is... he's not like an emancipated minor, but he left his parents and his foster parents and all that shit. And he lives in a mall. Which I still think is fucking hysterical. He is a half Asian goth with a long coat and the skull and crossbone earring, the crucifix.
With aspirations of becoming a physicist?
A physics professor with a math degree.
Physics professor. Okay, yeah.
I'm like, get a physics degree if you're gonna get the fucking whatever. That's his dream. He is the epitome of goth.
He is the epitome of goth.
He even got his shirt from Hot Topic. He confirms it in the book.
But
a delayed reaction.
But I'm pretty sure there was a scene where he's just like, I just dress like this so people don't talk to me, right?
Yeah. So he's a sort of god.
He's a god.
Yes. But Graves is his last name. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So Graves is his last name. We don't learn his first name in this book. It's a long time, I think, until we do. And Drew is also. Huh?
Sorry, go. Drew's full name because we don't learn it this book.
Drew is actually also a nickname for Drew, which becomes a big plot point later in the next book or the books after. I don't remember exactly, but just a tidbit. I think that's it about Graves.
Yep, I guess we need to get to your favorite male
He's
character.
my Heath. He is my Heath. I hate him so much. Because I read this book when I was 13, and so I mean, there's a love triangle from almost like it's not explicit in this book, but it's coming.
It's definitely clear that it's
gonna happen.
Yeah, it's obvious.
His name's Kristoff, and I fucking hate him. And I don't even know what color his hair is. I know he has blue eyes. And he smells like apple pie, and he's a damn fear.
Black. When we first meet him and he's come to the rescue, she's like, "For a mess of black hair." I'm like, "Did Grace follow her?" No, it's not. Okay.
I imagine him with red hair. I just always have. I think on one of the covers he looks like he has red hair. That's why.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she saw a mass of black hair when he.
No, you're right. It is black hair. Because he's on. I don't know if he's on the final cover, but he's on the second cover. Drew, Graves, and Kristoff are all on the cover.
Okay.
How common are love triangles in fiction? I feel like they're too common.
They're very common.
They're way too common.
Well, it's because they're free. It's the most convenient way of throwing a wrench in the works of the love.
Yeah, of the love plot.
It's a way to like not resolve a love plot when you have, or like this romantic subplot when you have like a series of books.
Yeah. As long as you resolve the love triangle, it's okay enough.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. Oh, Kristoff is a part of the Order, which is like people that fight the bad things in the real world, made up of people like mortals, vampires, Dhamphirs, and some werewolves. Yeah. I think that's It's really just them three all book.
Yeah.
And forever. But there is a side character named August. He becomes important later, so I'm going to mention him. Who is like one of her dad's old friends. I lived with him for a while. And then there's our big bad of the series, Sergey.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was just a couple of minor side characters that are irrelevant, I'm guessing, to the whole plot. Like, I don't think the teacher's coming back, so...
No, she's not. So, real quick, Sergey, my entire time ever reading this series, I thought he was, like, in his 40s. No, he's supposed to look 19.
Yeah.
I was shook.
Really?
Well, that's the issue when you have, I guess, immortal beings, like, can be as old and as
Young
old person seeming as they can seem, but unless if they look young, you need to continuously remind us of that. Like, okay, I know that you guys won't judge me. Well, I know TJ won't judge me, but maybe Addie will. I don't know. But one of the things in Twilight, for example,
no, I won't judge you.
The creepy twins. You know, half the reason why they were so creepy was because they looked like they were 13, because they were 13 or whatever when they were turned.
Yeah,
right.
And they were constantly told that they look like little innocent little dolls, but they're actually like.
Well, I was going to bring up Wolf from Mercy.
Yeah, well, he's also a perfect example. And again, it's pointed out that half the reason why he's so creepy is because he's pubescent.
Well, what I was also going to say is that, like, this is one of the interesting differences between adult fiction and young adult fiction is that, like, in adult fiction, a lot of times, like, they'll actually explore the concept of, like, what would happen, like, if you were a teenager and now you were immortal, like, you know, and you had to look like that forever. Like, you had to look 17 or whatever, or like 18, 19, because adult fiction will actually, like, acknowledge that 19-year-olds don't look like adults. Whereas in young adult fiction, it's like, yeah, no, if you were like a vampire at 17, you'd look like a person. And it's like, no, the fuck no. It is like, no, the fuck you wouldn't. Whereas, like, in adult fiction, you can play with that idea. So I also think that that's kind of an interesting thing. And it's also one of those things that typically presents a problem in young adult fiction when you're reading it as an adult, because you're like, oh, right, this is dumb. And it's one of those things where you're like, oh, this is where we need an adult. It's also something that makes, like, at least the TV show, because I haven't read the books, The 100, good, because when the adults get to Earth in season 2, sorry, spoilers. This is spoilers. God damn it. This is Book Club with Bay, not spoilers for Book Review with Bay.
And season 7's about to start airing, so you can give season 2 spoilers. It's safe.
Yeah. So season 2 spoilers for The 100. When the adults get to Earth in season 2, what The 100 actually does well is that when the adults are there trying to, like, take over, you're literally like, shh, let the teenagers handle this, which is something you never thought you'd say, but, like, that's genuinely how you feel, because you're watching the adults.
It's literally, let the children listen to the children. Yeah,
you're like, listen to the children. Like, it's nothing you never thought you'd say, but, like, they solved the problem. Right, but, like, they solved the problem of why aren't there any adults here? Because the children have already done the thing, and now the adults are fucking it up, and you're like, shut up, just let the children handle it. But yeah, it's just one of those things, like, in YA fiction, where you're just like, you guys are kids, like, what even?
Yeah, because Drew and Graves are, like, 16, and Kristoff looks 17 or 18, but I don't remember exactly how old he is. It's not revealed in this book, so.
Right, and, like, how would we feel if we had to look 16 forever? Like, we would be
I'd be unhappy.
I would be pleased with about 22.
Yeah, like, I'd be okay staying where I'm at right now. But not at 16. Hell no.
No.
Right, like,
I would be very with 16 for eternity.
I'd be very please.
Right. You would be real miffed about that, but like we can't talk about it because, you know,
YA.
YA.
I mean, I'd be less displeased with it here in Australia than in the US, because at least I could still, like a 16-year-old can usually pass for 18, so I could still drink without a hassle. But 16-year-olds usually have a hard time passing for 21.
Yeah, they do.
We sometimes
Even
have a
so-
hard time passing for
I know.
21. Like,
Fun side story. One time, TJ and I were going to the bar, and in Georgia, where we're from, there's a sideways license and a horizontal and vertical license. Vertical is for when you're under 21, and horizontal is for when you're over 21. When we went out, we're both 22. She still has her vertical license, and I have my horizontal one. She goes first. The bouncer is like, "All right, go in." And then he looks at mine, and then he scans mine twice. And then he looks at it, looks at me, looks at it. And I'm like, mine doesn't say under 21 in big red letters at the top. So why do I
mine does.
this?
And I'll also say too, like at this time as well, I still had like bright red hair and all that kind of stuff. And I haven't changed my picture since I was 16. I look very different. I do not look like how I looked at 16. My license picture does not look like me. Every time someone looks at my license, they always like change that. And I'm like, yeah. they're always like, you should do something about this. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah, I just got my passport photo done. So I'm going to have this hair in my passport photo for 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's great, but whatever.
I actually, because I had a child, like a child's passport initially, because I was on 18 when I got it. So that was 5 years, and then so I've got my other passport when I was like, I think I just turned 21 when I got my new passport, and that goes 10 years. And I found it the other day because it expires at the end of this year. And I looked at it, and I was just like, I look so different.
Yeah, the fact that
like,
it lasts 10 years is pretty crazy.
I'm like, that is not, well, you know, the weirdest thing, right? I think like for kids under 10, for example, their passports shouldn't even last 5 years, because like you can.
No, not at all.
My best friend's sister got her daughter a passport when she was 3 months old, because they went to New Zealand when she was 6 months old, because family, you know, they had family over there. So this kid, when she was 5, still had a picture of her at 4 months old on her passport.
Jesus Christ.
That's great.
And like, I mean, like kids still kind of look like themselves as a baby, but not always. Like sometimes,
but like that's a big stretch. Oh, you're back. You were silent.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my headphones like cut out, and then apparently it disconnects my microphone when my headphones die, even though it's not them. I need new headphones, guys.
There's a Streamlabs in the description of the YouTube. If you would like to fund Bay's headphones, by the way.
That would be.
Like, I mean, like at first it was like, you know, it's a nice running gag because it usually happened once towards the end of the stream.
It does.
Now it's like,
now it's just a problem.
Now it's like 5 times the stream.
And it's not fun.
Anyways.
Oh, Maggie donated to us at some point and said, I'm not dead 7 hours ago.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Maggie.
You must have caught up on others. Thanks, Maggie.
Always thank you, Maggie.
If we catch up on this stream, thank you, Maggie. We do have a theory that if Maggie's not in stream, he's dead.
Yeah, he just dies for some reason. All right. Let's get into the plot now. Not that a lot happens in this book, but just, you know, just get started with the nothing bowl.
Yeah, this is going to be on you guys. Sorry.
Well, I have my notes up.
Okay, well, it starts off with Drew being like, Daddy, are you going out hunting? He's like, yes, I am going out hunting, and you were staying here and doing your homework. She's like, but I don't want to. And he's like, too bad. And she's like, And she's like, farewell, Drew. And she's like, and that's the last time I saw my father alive.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, okay. Here's the thing, because that part I do remember. See, I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine with narrative stuff like that. And it's totally fine. As long as like immediately you cut to like after, dad's dead. But no, we have to sit through all fucking day with this bitch.
We have to go to school.
Yeah, we go to school and we witness our dumbass teacher who's a bitch. We meet Graves.
Like cut all that out, or like do all that first and then be like, Daddy, I want to go hunting with you, and then him being like, no, do your homework, and she's like, and then that was the last time I ever saw Dad alive. Okay, now there's no Dad. Like, you can't just be like, and that was the last time, and then like bad feeling all day. We know he's dead. You already spoiled it, and now we have to sit here for 5 hours knowing that Dad's dead, and I don't give a shit. This is why I was so zoned out.
One thing I was happy about was when she was like, I'm going to go skip school, and Graves is like following her because I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think he just thought she was pretty. So he was like, fuck it. And they go play pool, but they don't show them doing that, which I was like, thank you for that. I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah, I like that. And I will say as well, I think as much as I didn't like, because I had the same issue as well. I'm just like, every time she's like, I can't get in contact with Dad. I'm like, oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, we're all just sitting here like, you dumb bitch. You already told us he's dead. Like,
but I do like what they did with Daddy though.
Yeah,
I like what you did with Daddy. I will say that.
So the actions book, I will say, when there's action, there's action, and when there's not, there's not.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay. So after she plays hooky with Graves, she gets home, does home stuff. Like, it's just a lot of exposition about the world, which is fine, good, great. Backstory on her about her dead mom. Wake up in the morning and
they don't let you forget about that shit.
Yeah, no, they keep, like I said, they kind of over tell you things, which I'd rather be over told something and not be confused whatsoever than be never told something and then having to figure it out for ourselves on stream. But so then she has a dream. Has a dream about her dad. Who cares? What I wrote down. And yeah, so she's like freaking the fuck out, and suddenly there's a tapping on the window, motherfuckers.
Yeah, just tap, 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 tap.
Yeah, that's a lot of things in this book, because there's a lot of tapping. A lot of tapping on doors and tapping on windows.
Tap.
Yeah, she do.
And she goes there. Who is it?
It's her dad is a zombie.
Daddy!
With flesh falling off of his arm. It's like real bad. And she's like, well, fuck. Okay. Yes.
Also, this was before Daddy was weird.
Yes. This was before Daddy was weird.
Guys, just so you all know.
And fight scene. And it is a sad fight scene because she's literally like re-killing her father. It's very sad. She definitely processes her emotions, unlike fucking Jude. She processes shit, man. This chapter just starts like her at the mall, and so I wrote down, so what do you do when you kill your zombie dad? Go to the fucking mall. Which she explained, she's like, I really don't know what happened. I just kind of ended up here. I blacked out a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, fair, whatever.
Yeah, she's like, I need out of this house, and she didn't want to go to school, so she ended up at the mall. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and so Grave sits down in front of her and is like, yo, what's wrong, bitch? Oh god, and he just goes into full like help mode. He buys her food and buys her stuff and is like, here you go. Here, you okay? Like, do you need somewhere to go? And this is the first time we see his fucking catchphrase that I hate more than anything on this planet.
What, the first one's free?
Yes.
Yeah, every time.
pretty bad.
Because I will say, she obviously, like, you can tell that, because, okay, another similarity to Supernatural is the hunter lifestyle. It's like, you know, there's very few people you can trust. You know, you'll have at most, you know, a general casual working respect for other hunters type thing, and that's about it. But they're all scammers and this and that. So she doesn't trust anyone.
Yes.
So she keeps on saying to him, like, what's your angle? Like, why are you doing this? And he's like, the first one's free. And it's like, and she's like, what do I have to pay you for the second one? Like, it's just like this whole thing of her being like, why? And he's like, 'cause I'm a nice person. She goes, that makes no sense. Let me pay you. And the first one's free. And she's like, no, because next time you're going to want my body or something. And it's weird. So it's, yeah.
So then we find out that Graves is in a mall. And we find out he's been like living on his own for a really long time, and like that he's very smart. Because we find out he has multiple escape routes and like all this stuff, and he doesn't just live there; he lives other places as well. But she's like, I can't unpack all of this living in a mall shit. So fuck, and then just goes to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I kind of like the little setup he's got.
Yeah,
He's kind of like
yeah.
got an abandoned office, like near the dumpsters and stuff. Like, and he's just like, and she's like, how? And he's like, everyone just forgot that this was here. I don't know. It's just a thing. But isn't that every teenager's dream, though, to set up like a little thing?
To live in a mall? Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
is.
kind of fuck around and play like air hockey at night, you know.
Especially
Chill.
like
Yeah.
2009
Mm-hmm.
Black Veil Bride era. Fuck yeah. When malls were all the rage, oh my god.
And also, like, you can tell that they like living out in the middle of nowhere, because he's like literally the only like security cameras that work in this whole place are at Macy's. He's like, just avoid Macy's, you're fine. The rest of them are fake.
Let's see.
And then the next day's a snow day.
Yes.
So no school. He also keeps trying to lecture about going to school because she needs an education.
Yeah, and she's like, "Why is everyone bitching at me about education? Like, what the fuck? I'm a hunter, bitch. Like."
But then she also like goes on to say, like, why do I need school? Like, you know, I'll turn 18 and get a really good job, and I'm like, fine. And he's like, how are you going to get a good job if you don't have an education? Like, who's going to hire a high school dropout Drew? And she's like, oh yeah, I guess, good point. But I'm a hunter. And he's like, well,
yeah, exactly. She's like, I don't even technically have like a driver's license. I don't even know if I have a social security number. Like, I'm past this. Like, you know, I'm past worrying about high school. And she's like,
I forget though. Does she manage to rescue the cookie jar, the moo cow cookie jar?
She does. She does.
I missed that bit. That's why I just wanted to check.
Yeah. So yeah, her mom's cookie jar. Yeah.
I think it's the only thing that she has left of her mother is
of her mom. Yeah, which is fine, you know, fair. And so the next day, like, Graves is already gone, and she's like, all right, I need to go into actual planning mode. I need to find my dad's contact list, and I need to call them because I am on my own. This is not good. So she's like going through, she also draws, so she goes through her drawing pad, and she finds a drawing that she has not seen before that is a drawing of where the truck, like her dad's truck is, which she needs to obviously skip town. And so Graves comes back and she's finally like, yeah, no, Daddy's dead. Daddy's dead. Daddy cries, and it's very sad. Like, it is sad. But Daddy,
stop.
don't become a zombie and kill me.
Oh God.
So then they start fucking around the mall, and she's back into planning mode that night, and then a wild thing has appeared, aka a fucking werewolf on fire.
Yeah.
As if a werewolf isn't terrifying enough, this one's on fire.
And she's in the graves like appears like WTF, and she's like run, and he's like no. She's like run, and he's like no, and then like Wolf goes to jump at her, and then she stacks it, so then it bites, and he's behind her, so it's like one of those like bites Graves instead of her, and she's like no.
The wolf that bites him becomes a character, I'm pretty sure. His name is Ash. Because I remember reading the name Ash, and I was like, this is familiar to me. So, yes.
Sorry.
So they shoved the flaming wolf into a fountain, and yeah.
Why did it rail shit?
I'm sorry. It derailed me. That's fair.
Context, she sent us a text message in our group chat. That's the context of this intermission. So, all right. That's like 3 chapters of them literally just fighting. It's literally just them fighting for 3 chapters, and then
she's like, I gotta go and get my bag, and he's like, don't leave me. And she's like, but I got it. And she's like, please don't, but I have to. Please don't, but I have to. Please don't. That's literally the fighting.
I mean, fair. I wouldn't want to be left alone after getting bit by a fucking wolf.
Yeah, well, he eventually wins the argument, and she's like, fine, but so she, and yeah.
Right.
And so the werewolf lore in this, the initial werewolf lore in this, we'll go to the loophole shit when we get to the loopholes. But when you're bitten by a werewolf or a wolfen,
oh god, the fucking loophole.
So
you have your first turn within 12 hours. So that's and one of the other reasons why she didn't end up leaving him, because she didn't want. Because I think also probably more likely to, make the switch earlier if you're freaking the hell out.
Yeah.
Because, so she's like, there's a good chance if I come back, he'll be a werewolf. God damn it. Oh, I should just kill him.
So, like, yeah.
She's
like, Dad would kill him. But she doesn't because he bought her a cheeseburger and she's in love with him. Anyways.
So she bandages him up and takes him to get the bag, and then they go to her house.
Yes. They climb into bed together because hypothermia, and because it's the Dakotas, man. It's fucking snowy. And so she wakes up and ties him down to the bed, and he's like, "Oh, this is kinky, madam." And she's like, "I'm gonna ask you like 5 questions. If you answer them right, I'll untie you. If not, I'm gonna fucking kill you."
Yep.
And
like at this point, he's freaking the hell out because she's like got a gun pointed at him.
Yeah, she has a gun pointed at him, and he's answering the question.
Why haven't you changed?
Yeah,
what are you talking
about? Yeah, and he's like, "Please don't shoot me" at the end of every single answer. And the question, the loophole that we were talking about is, if you are a virgin, you will not turn into a werewolf.
Yeah, because then she's like, "Are you a virgin?" And he's like, "Wait."
And he's like, "How dare you?
This is personal. Why you tied me up and pointed a gun to my head, to ask me if I'm a virgin?"
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Are you a serial killer? Like, it's honestly
fair fucking question. Do you kill virgins? Like what?
Yeah, like, do you have a type? Like, what the fuck?
And
he's
so
like, what's the right answer before I answer you?
But he,
yes.
Yeah, he's a virgin, so she unties him and he freaks out and he's like, "Leave me the fuck alone." And she's like, "Okay."
Because the way it's explained, when you are bitten by a werewolf, it forms a link to that wolf, and then so the disease doesn't actually form from the bite itself; it forms from the link. But you have to have an open door in your head for that. And if you're a virgin, that door is slammed shut
I'm pretty sure it was just a way for us to know that he's a virgin, which, I mean, honestly, though, we could have inferred that otherwise.
He's the goth teenage love interest. Of course,
He's the goth,
virgin.
quote-unquote, half-breed. Her words, not mine. With a unibrow.
He looks like
I'm
he's
sorry.
trying too hard to have the Clint Eastwood squint.
Yeah, describe him like that, and we're all going to think he's a virgin. We don't need confirmation
With
for
a
that.
unibrow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they talk it all out, and he's like, okay, so this is wild, but like fucking whatever. I guess this is my life now, but I'm not a werewolf, so good.
Yeah, and then he's like, so what else is there? And she's like, well, there's zombies, there's this, there's that, there's suckers. And he's like, what's a sucker? And she's like, you don't want to know. But of course, we find out what a sucker is like 2 chapters later.
Because the audience already knows what a fucking sucker is, because we're not dumb.
It didn't click for me, I'm not going to lie, but that's because I was also not really paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
For all I know as well, like, because there's all different terms and stuff in the book. Like, when she mentioned suckers, I'm like, well, maybe it's a thing like a, okay, I was actually kind of thinking like a leash, but I was thinking like a more squishy leash-looking thing.
That makes sense. I think I might be biased since I've read this series before. Because I knew who Kristoff was, and I knew that he was a vampire, whatever, half-breed vampire.
That was only after the first mention. The second mention of sucker is like you actually get like the slightest little inkling descriptive thing. I was like, oh, it's a vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, she should have just said like vampire Nosferatu. I think that would have been fine, but whatever. So they get snowed in for 3 days, and someone is at the door. Tap 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 tap.
Like,
it's like Jude, but with taps.
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
And then so like they're like miming to each other, and she's like, and so he's like creeping up the stairs, but apparently like because he wears tidy whities and he's got like epic wedgies, so she gets
why was he naked? Like mostly naked. Like I'm so confused by that.
That's right, because she keeps mentioning as well like how he's walking around like half naked and stuff like that. She's like how it's freezing, but then we find out later that he's not a werewolf, but a thing. So he's just
even
always
know how to pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try.
I don't. But then, and then there's someone go out there going, "Drew, let me in, little piggy," and she's like, "Ah!" And then he's walking back down the stairs with the gun, and then he steps on a creaky step, and then the thing yeets, and he's like, I smell metallic, and she's like, "That's blood," and so this is also the first inkling we get that something's up with him.
Yeah. I actually don't know what it was at the door.
It was the thing that she runs into later, because she even said, like, this was the thing that was tapping on my door.
Is it the dream stealing thingy?
I think
but that doesn't
that.
speak.
Oh, no, maybe it was like one of the other vampire thingies that she fights later or whatever.
Oh, yeah, because those, they have to have permission to enter the house.
Yeah, because she does, I remember when the big, like, you know, showdown bit was happening, she was like, this was the thing that was at my door. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's the thing that was at her door.
Yeah, I skimmed the final fight, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I didn't really keep the best track of what was happening. I was just like, oh,
yeah,
she
like
needs to happens, and then they yeet.
Yeah, like you figure what happens in the final fight because it's the first book in a series, so you know that no one's gonna die of importance, so who cares? And you know the big bad's not gonna die, so who cares? But so it's gone. She's okay, so they're go out and she's gonna make
There's no footprints in the snow.
There's no footprints in the snow, yes. And she's gonna make a call to an unlisted number in her dad's call book that is not marked safe. So I don't know why she chose to call that one and not August 1st.
Because it's also, I don't know, maybe because it's also not. I think it looked like it was maybe like one of the newer numbers or something in there, and it wasn't marked safe, but it wasn't marked unsafe. And she's like, "This is curious or incurious, or isn't it?"
Yeah. So she calls that number, and it's Kristoff, but you don't know whether it's Kristoff because if you're reading this for the first time, you don't know that Kristoff is a person. But as soon as like he was like, speak, little girl, or whatever he said. I was like, fucking A. Like, God,
Yeah,
no.
and then she gets her citrus taste, and she's like, ah! And for
This
some reason,
doesn't
she
smell
counts
apple
to
pie already.
15. I know why she counted to 15, so he could be like, okay, well, this is getting tiresome. If you want to meet me at the corner of blah and blah,
Yeah.
high noon, and but yeah, no, she just stood there counting to 15, and then she's like, okay, now I'll hang up.
Yeah, and so he tells her a place to meet her, and it's she's going, finds her grandmother's owl that's following her at the location. Someone yells, there's a wolf. She gets in the truck, doesn't see Kristoff, and it was confirmed that it's him, so I wrote, fuck him, I hate him. And she's like, oh, he's a vampire, and he's like, fucking leave, so she shoots him, and then she leaves. Because that's the natural thing to do.
Yeah, because he's also not leaving footprints in the sand, in the snow and shit.
Yeah.
He's like, he's a sucker. He's gonna kill me.
Yep.
So she's freaking the hell out.
Then next we see is she goes home and she has a dream.
Oh yeah. Okay, the school thing happens after the dream. Carry on.
Yes, so this is it. This is the school. She has a dream about her mom. That's very sad.
Yeah, she had a dream about the last time she saw her mum, but I don't think she realized at the time that was a memory dream, not just a weird dream.
Yeah, I agree.
And her mum's like, you hide in this thing in the floor in the closet, and Daddy's gonna find you when he gets home. I love you, bye-bye, baby.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That was the last time she saw her mother alive. Spoiler alert, her mother's dead. Her mother's been dead for a long time. So she goes to school and she bitches out her teacher and puts a hex on her teacher that like chokes her out, and it's all very dramatic, and so she eats.
And one thing I liked was in this argument, because then Grace followed him and was like, WTF? And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, I didn't want a crazy girlfriend. And she's like, wait, what?
Yeah, so he basically admits that he has feelings for her, but he doesn't, because he's like, oh, wait, backtracking. You don't react well. This is a joke. It's all a joke, bitch. I'm joking. I don't like you at all.
I mean, you can see why he thinks that, though, because they've been sharing her bed for a week at this point. And they've been canoodling on the nightly. Like, you can see why he would slip up the girlfriend.
They have not kissed or done anything yet. She actually kisses no one in this book. But they've been sleeping.
They have been spooning in her bed for a week.
Yes, they have.
So it's fair. I think it's fair. What does Bay think? Does Bay think it's fair that he slipped at the girlfriend card when you've been spooning someone for a week?
And also when you're 16.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, you're 16. You're living alone in a house in the same bed, even though there's another bed. You know.
It's fair.
And you have this bond. She's a hunter. He's like a half wolf. I don't think we know he's a half wolf yet, but he's a half.
Yeah, we don't. But
he's a half wolf.
He's a half breed all the way around.
Lily St. Crow's words, not ours.
We would refer to him as biracial, not a half breed, but the book has set the tone. Okay.
Yes, it has.
This is not our fault.
And no, what was
I mean, they're a half breed, like in terms of like a half demon or something. That's a half breed fair.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever referred to a person, even like as a child, when I was ignorant.
Honestly, I was just shook it. I was like, wait. Because at first I thought she meant something supernatural. Like, that's where my brain went. I was like, oh, he's supernatural. And then I was like,
I've got 5 more half-breeds in the next 5 minutes with the context.
Oh, this is just bad.
Yeah, it is.
This is another pet peeve of mine, sorry, just in relation to his description. Because he's got hazel eyes, right? A mixture of green and brown.
Hazel,
we know that hazel just means a mixture of 2 or more colors. So if you have blue-green eyes, you have hazel eyes. If you have blue-brown eyes, you have hazel eyes. If you have brown, blue, and green in your eyes, you have hazel eyes. And then there's one description where she goes, his eyes were more green today than hazel. I'm like, excuse you.
Yeah. She does describe his eye color.
Is the correct description. Sorry, it's a pet peeve because my, Stixie and the boy both have hazel eyes, and they both have a really nice mix of brown and green, and that's because it's hazel. It's a mixture of two colors. And then my niece actually has blue-green hazel, which is kind of nice. I honestly thought she had blue eyes, and I was looking at her eyes, and I'm like, there's green in there, and I don't like it. But anyway, not the point. Hazel is just a mixture of two or more eye colors in your eyes. It's not a color in and of itself. It's a half-breed eye. Sorry.
So I think the whole point of showing this hex thing was to just lay down the groundwork even more that there's something up with Drew, man. Something not human about this bitch.
I mean, but it still doesn't quite ring any bells because you know that she's got stuff.
Her grandmother thing, yeah. And she's described how she's done spells like her grandmother, like wards and stuff like that. And, she has the touch.
Like, oh, okay. It's all coming from.
This is just one of my grandmother's hexes. Okay, cool. And let's see. Oh, yeah. So this struck me as odd. So Graves already knew that her dad went zombie and all that stuff, and he's like, why is there a human-sized stain on your carpet? And I'm sitting here, I'm like, you already what?
he was already politely ignoring the zombie smell and the clothes that she picked up, because also when you kill a zombie, even if they were just zombified like 10 minutes ago, their whole body just turns to dust.
Yeah,
it takes a minute for it to happen. It takes a while.
Yeah,
but you turn to dust. Don't know exactly how long, but by at least 2 hours later, it's all dusty.
Yeah.
So she had warned him. He politely ignored her cleaning up the dead dad dust.
Yep, he did. He's politely ignored quite a bit of shit, man. And so rightfully at this point, he's like, all right, so tell me what the fuck is like, just okay, I think you're keeping shit from me. I feel different. What is happening? And she's like, but they do talk it out, and then they go home. And something's at the door again. Tap, 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 tap.
Yeah. Time for the tapping again.
And it's Kristoff. He comes in. They fight. And
oh yeah, because he's also like, you can't come in if you're evil. And so he steps through the door, and he's like, voila.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I thought you were going to kill me. And he's like, no, you're an idiot.
Yeah, but they still fucking fight, and it's her and Kristoff have multiple fight scenes, or I think at least there's just 2 in this book, but I'm still like, this is the stupidest thing. But then Graves becomes a wolf-like thing, but he's not full wolf, and he can speak in the form. And I forgot that I refer to Kristoff as Apple Bitch because he smells like apple pie. Then we get more exposition about the story. So dad wasn't actually a hunter, it was mom, because mom is a word that I'm not going to try to pronounce, which is just a female Dhampir. I can't pronounce that word either. Female half vampire. And they're super rare, and because
wait,
mom
what's
was
the
one.
spelling of the word? Because it sounds like something.
It has like a J with an H, like where Vampire Academy has the H.
Okay.
Dhampir?
Okay, yeah. But it's Dhampir.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was pretty sure I was hearing in the audio. I'm just like, but I'm listening to this on my
DJ. Word.
Okay. Yeah, it's Dhampir.
And Apple Boy, Apple Bitch, is like, yeah, no, I'm your guardian angel. The book is his namesake, just so we're all clear here. And so she's like, wait, no, there's no way I'm like a half-breed vampire thing. The female version, it looks Russian to me.
Probably is.
Yeah, so not gonna try, but
I'll just say girl Dhampir.
Yeah, girl Dhampir. And he's like, let me help you, bitch. And Graves is like, I don't trust this whore. And so she's like, fine, you can help us. Then we get some more exposition about wolves and vamps.
Yeah, they don't, like, it's the typical thing. They don't like each other. They have a thing.
Yeah.
So it's a thing. And then is this where she calls August?
They go through her dad's books first to find out more information about who they are, because we also find out Graves' species name as well.
Yeah, so I think the explanation for that is because the wolf that fed him is old enough and powerful enough they can still form a half link with a virgin. It just doesn't turn. Like, does that mean that when he like does the fuck, he turns into a werewolf?
No, he does not.
Okay.
I don't believe so, if I remember correctly.
Okay. So yeah, so it was a super powerful wolfie that did a bite, so he managed to. He might not have been able to open the door, but he went through the window type thing.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just them talking, and he calls her princess, and I want to puke.
Yeah.
So yeah, she dreams of an old house, and Kristoff wakes her up, pinning her down, and like Graves is shutting the window, and there was this dream sucker thing like macking on her face, kind of like what are they in Harry Potter? What are they called?
Dementors.
Yes, kind of like a Dementor. Sucks.
And it was sucking in all her breath.
Yep. And apparently Graves fought it and won. So good for Graves.
Yeah. He gets a scratch behind the ear. He gets to go into his like doggo form and get a scratch behind the ear.
Oh God. So after she's like calm-ish down, the boys get into a fight because it's a love triangle and they have to get in fights, otherwise it's not a love triangle. Yeah. And she realizes the house she saw in her dream was in this city, so this is where she's actually from. Because she's like, I recognize this house from my childhood, etc., etc. More info about Mom and Kristoff, part of the Order, flashbacks to her grandma.
Yep, her mummy was killed by a Sergei. She deeply wounded him, and now he's out for the Drew blood. Yes, out for the Anderson blood. And she's close to blooming, which, God, this word gave me PTSD. Because it's talked about so much next book. Mm-hmm. It was cringy enough with just a few mentions this book. Because that's right, because Kristoff was like, have you bloomed yet? And she's like, yeah, it's so cringy. It's gross. Look, I'm like, that is a very inappropriate question to ask a girl. It's just so you know. Your second puberty wave hit for female half-breeds. Have you had your vampire puberty yet? Yeah. Like, have you gotten your vampire period, Drew? And so now she calls August. Yeah. Which she should have done from the get-go. Agreed. It's like as soon as she rocked up on the doorstep, she could have gone, you know what? If you're evil, you can't come in. If you're a goodie, you wait outside while I make a phone call. Yeah, because she's like, all right, because he's like, you can confirm this information with August, and she's like, August, because August is like one of the most trusted allies of her family. So she calls him, and he's like, oh my god, please tell me you're with Kristoff. Please tell me you're with Kristoff. She's like, I'm with Kristoff. And he's like, put him on the phone right now. Goes all angry stepdad mode. It's very fun. Yeah. And then they start packing and getting ready to bolt. And then she tastes citrus again. And she's like, yeah. So they're getting ready. Like her and Kristoff like simultaneously freeze, and like Grace is like, what the hell is happening? Kristoff's like, hey, you, and she's like, the weapons, got it. And he's like, good. And Grace is like, what the fuck is happening? And Kristoff, he must feel like such a third wheel. I know, and I hate it. So Kristoff and Drew and Graves on one team, Kristoff on the other team, get into an actual physical altercation about the car keys. Yeah, he's like, give me the keys. And she's like, no, I don't trust you.
And they get into a very violent fight about it where he throws Graves into a window and like all this shit. And I'm like, why? Like, fucking why? And so the house, yeah, like, I guess it's that big of a deal. And so wolves show up, Graves gets Drew out of there. They drive away to the location that Kristoff set up with some of the Order guys.
Yep, and they're assuming that Kristoff is dead at this point. Yeah.
Yes, she's like, well, we left Kristoff. He got fucked up the ass by like 8
Yeah, she's
wolves.
like, I can't believe he's dead just because I wouldn't give him the car keys. Oh no, I feel bad.
Literally later, he's like, next time, bitch, just give me the goddamn car keys. And she's like, okay, noted. Yeah.
Real quick, Assassin the Grey said, I have checklists for features and all that. I thought this was common for writers. It is, and like,
Very
I mean,
useful.
I've talked about my character. I've talked about my character profiles, and I feel this right now because I'm having to force myself to do it for Elder because I like update it every book. Because obviously, like, things change about, or hopefully things change about your character. I mean, if they don't, if things don't change for like the food stand lady, it's okay. But like, if things aren't changing for all your characters, like your main characters, you might be doing something wrong. Unless that's the point, in which case, cool. But like, you should know that.
Say, like, unless you have like a particular side character, Bae, who is like kind of an unchanging being, and that's why we love that particular side character.
Yeah.
Then not a lot would change for that side character.
I like knowing exactly who. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
we're talking about Maya, right?
Yeah. No, her character profile changes not. There's
at most hers would be like, you know, like memorable quotes like might get updated if you have that in your profile.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good. I should add that.
Yeah, memorable quotes. I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
Especially, like Maya's might have to be a page long because she's a snarky son of a bitch.
True.
She is. Yeah. No, hers. Well, because see, exactly. Their case in point. Some rules are meant to be broken. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, you know, some things should change for your characters. But yeah, like I'm doing it now for Elder, and it's a pain in the ass because I'm like, but I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I can't just keep writing like this. I need it. I need to update it.
My references, damn it.
I'm 20,000 words in, and I'm like, I just can't keep going.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, sorry.
So they're at the house or place, whatever, and she's like,
we're at the end.
I'm going with you, and she's like, no, you gotta stay up here to drive the car. And he's like, I don't drive. And she's like, you don't drive. He's like, I catch the bus. What do you want from me? And she's like, you'll work it out, I'm sure. So she goes
simple. 2 pedals, wheel, go. Like,
yeah. So she goes in and she's like, I wonder what's in here type thing. And then it's like, well. And she's like, oh crap, it's a Sergey.
Yep.
And it's
Sergey.
She's like, well, I'm going to kill you. And she's like, I don't think that would be a nice thing to happen to me today. Let's not do that. And fight ensues.
Yeah, he's supposed to look 18. I wrote that down because,
yeah, he looks 18. Yeah.
That's so weird. Like, and you know, like I said, the narrator didn't like. Lorelei King made me a fan of narrators with that kind of vocal tone. But this didn't work.
I think they worked out for more like a mature protagonist as opposed to a mid-teens protagonist.
Yeah.
Like if Lorelei King was narrating this book, I would be just as creeped out.
Yeah, exactly. Like it just, like Michelle Amos couldn't do it. Lorelei King couldn't do it. Nobody could, like, it just, no.
Needed a younger. A younger audiobook
And guess
narrator.
what? They have those. Like you go on like your narrator shopping websites, and that's actually one of the categories that you can browse through.
Yep.
Male, teen. There doesn't have to be a teen narrator. She just sounds like she hasn't hit puberty yet. It's fine.
It would have done much better like that. So Kristoff shows up fighting. Owl is fighting. Graves is injured, but fighting. He like drives a car through a wall. It's all very cool. Wolves are here fighting with us. Big fight scene. Woohoo. I don't actually remember how it ends.
There, I can't remember what side they were on, but the creepy door person's there. I don't know what happens to them because again, I can't remember what it is. And then Kristoff rocks up and he's like, "Hey," and she's like, "Oh, you're alive." He's like, "Yeah, next time give me the keys, bitch."
She's like huddled against Graves, being held by Graves, just like, and he's like, "You should go to school," and she's like, "I will only go to school if Graves can go to school with me to learn like what she is and like how to fight with what she is." It's the order school.
Yeah, cool. And he's like, "Okay, here's the address. Be gone." And she's like, "Okay." So
they get in a helicopter, and that's the end of the book.
Yeah. Oh, and then we get with the audiobook, there was a bit at the end where it's just like kind of like an intro to next book. It's like, Drew Anderson is blah and blah, and when she goes to her magical, like her school of witchcraft and wizardry, she discovers she's the only girl there.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
How to handle all of the male attention. Read the next book to find out.
And also, the thing with blooming that I remember is that like your pheromones. Yeah, I think that they can smell it happening to her. I vaguely remember that being a thing. Next book. Yeah, so I think it was the Vampire Academy author who is like her quote, her review for this book is like on every single cover on every single book in the series, and it's dark, dangerous, and sexy. And I'm like, none of this has been sexy. None of it was
sexy.
It was
the
dark,
unibrow wasn't sexy.
Dangerous. Yeah, I know.
Honestly, I feel like sometimes, like the bigger authors whose quotes are on like these awful books, like because House of Night had some as well, and I can't remember who the quotes were from, but it was from an author whose work I like.
Mm-hmm.
It was like whatever it was. I'm just like, I'm pretty sure they were told to read this. They got one of their people to read it and just say something like that or do a thing that will.
Yeah, they might be under the same publishing house, and that might be why.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure though that they didn't do it. They're pretty sure they were just like either didn't read it or they got someone else to read it and say, come up with a thing to send.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this one was not sexy. It was not. I don't remember them ever actually, like, I'm pretty sure sex does happen in these books, but like, I don't remember. I wouldn't
see Vampire Academy being described as sexy because of all like the fucking tension between Rose and Dimitri, but I wouldn't call Bloodline sexy. I would call that fun. Like you can have romantic subplots that are angsty or drama filled without it being sexy, and that's not always a bad thing. But in this one, there was no sexy. I don't look at a unibrow half breed. The thought in my head of like, oh wow, it's a half breed going, wow, this is sexy.
I know the way, because I remember loving him so much. And I'm reading like, I'm like, so yeah, like she's like, he'll be hot one day, and I'm like, no, bitch, he's hot now. Make him hot now. And
again, don't refer to your love interest as a half breed.
Yeah.
But it's not a sexy descriptor. That's just the biggest thing. But like we keep bringing it up, or like I don't know, I keep bringing it up, but I just can't get past the fact that made it.
It was mentioned a few times in the first time that they like met, or we met Graves.
Mm.
It was just like
it was over and over again. And I'm like, why? How is this in here?
Yeah,
I don't get it. Does he get referred to that again?
Don't remember. It's been
After
a
she starts
long time.
she seems to stop calling him that, at least in her head. She never said it out loud, all in her head. But she
Yeah.
stopped thinking of him that way, it seemed, throughout the book. But initially, it's like, how did this get published by a publisher?
I don't know. But here we are.
But here we are. And that was that lovely setup that could have been half of the first book.
Could have been, but we had to reminisce about dead dad and dead mom and all that.
Yeah, there's a lot of processing. My God.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully she got all her processing out this book.
I don't remember. Which
just crossed that she's dealt with the daddy death. Now.
I'll probably start reading Betrayed, I think, or Betrayal or something like that. Whatever it's called next week. Because Betrayals. Because I have all the physical copies of this at my parents' house, which is where I'm going there next week. So probably just start reading it just for funsies, just to see what's happening. Give you guys a fair warning of what's to come.
Oh God. I don't know if warning though, just because it's just like if it's gonna go how I think it's gonna go, it's gonna make it harder to start.
But I guess like a small update. We now have like custom cover and interior formatting available.
Yeah.
On the website. That's linked below. And then also we've got some pre-made covers. They're mostly romance novel covers. So, but we do have more on the way. But if you guys are interested in custom cover design or anything like that, that is linked in the description below. But next week, next week we are going to be doing Emperor of Thorns. We're going to be finishing that up. And then for Good Book Week, after that, we will be doing the next Mercy Thompson book.
Yep, it's coming out.
And then before that, though, we will be doing the second book in this series.
Betrayal.
Betrayal. So that's what we have coming up. It's all very exciting. But at least
dates will be on the website once they're decided between the three of us.
Yes, they will be. But at least it's not the casts. So yeah. Anyway,
we still got some time before we go back to the cast.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching.
Yes.
And
oh wait, quick House of Night update. So found out recently that the final House of Night book is not coming out in October. It's coming out in June or July.
Fuck.
No, it means we're done sooner, guys. It means we're done sooner.
That's true.
Yeah, but then maybe you have to read it sooner too.
Yeah, but then we're done sooner. Then we never have to touch House of Night ever again.
Unless.
Don't say that.
No.
Comes out with a
Stop
Grandma
it. Don't
Redbird.
put that into the universe, you bitch.
She already wants to make a Grandma Redbird novella, which means we'd have to read it, which means...
No, she said Grandma Redbird would get her own novel.
That's right. She's like, Grandma Redbird deserves her own series. And I'm like,
no.
Like, it's already out. That's what I mean, unless.
No.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong, but I hope you're wrong. Okay, now do the outro.
Okay, yeah, now we can go. Now, on that depressing note, let's say bye.
Fucking